What's up, guys? We have our 30th of November South African Regionals winner here. Who are you and what did you play?
I'm Byron and I played Magical Musket.
And why did you play Magical Muskets?
I just got like a really good matchup against a lot of the decks' format. Like the blind second version plays to Orcus really well. Salamangreats pretty easy as well. And then you struggle against like True Draco and stuff, but Orcus plays well into those matchups, so I didn't expect to see so many on Top Cut.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Let's see the deck profile.
Okay, so starting off you have 3 Caspar. He's the search of the deck, definitely the best one.
Turn him around first, please. Okay. What does he do?
So when you activate a spell or trap, so all of the Magical Muskets have an effect that triggers when you activate a spell or trap in their column. When you activate a spell or trap in his column, he searches for any Magical Musket card in your deck.
Crazy, okay.
Next up we have 3 Kid Brave. He's the second best one. He used to be pretty okay, but he's a lot better now because when you're opening like doubles and stuff, because Max basically searches any card in your deck already, you don't have to open him, and then like drawing into mind controls and Pangratopses or whatever, really, or your side deck actually helps you win. Next up is Triple Starfire. She summons any other musket from your deck.
When something's activated.
So they all have that effect.
Yeah.
Doc, he's the one that returns from grave to hand. So if any activates, so here's how you basically grind. So when you get past turn 2 or 3, you got all your spell and traps in your grave. So like a lot of players will start negating him or trying to get rid of him. They think he's the problem card. He's not. He's only the problem card turn 1. So turn 2 or 3, once everything's cycling, they actually need to out him because he's how you play your grind game.
Okay.
Cool.
And only 2. You wouldn't play 3, 1.
Oh no, he's worst too. He's the worst card to open though. So when you like play him, he doesn't do anything turn 1. Like if you activate a card at any of these cards, they plus you turn 1. He just sits there. He's just max fighter.
Okay.
And then I played one of Sekil. Not a lot of players played this guy, but I opted not to play the Utopia double package, which a lot of players do play. But the problem with it is it takes up 2 slots in your extra deck, and then Desires banishes the Utopia card or the double or nothing.
Yeah.
And then you lose the effect anyway, so you lose utility, you lose the card, and then you also, every time you make it, you have to commit 2 level 4s into it. So you would commit her, and then they usually play Calamities to make Utopia double, and then if that gets negated, you instantly lose the game, because you've now committed all your resources into something that's bad. So I decided to play him as like a way to push for damage, and a way to make the BLS link, because the BLS link also auto wins your striker matchup, and it's very strong.
Is he a level 7?
Level 8.
Level 8.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Then after I wound up playing 2 hand traps.
Ghost
so
Ball
these
Turbo?
Ghost Ball Turbo. These should have been both Ghost Balls, but I couldn't organize a second Ghost Ball. So the reason I wanted to play Ghost Ball is it's the only hand trap live or this and DD Crow, I suppose, that would be live as your 6th card in hand. So against Orcus, if you draw Ash as your 6th card, you can't really do anything. But if you draw Ghost Ball, then you can stop the skeleton from bringing back the dinghy, and so it stops combo. And then it's live as just 6th card in hand.
And didn't you stop a Fire King Calamities?
Yeah, that was quite a cool interaction. So when that guy gets summoned, he can banish from field or grave. So the guy summoned, he popped 2, I think it was True King Dino. And he popped 2 cards to summon him to banish one of my muskets on field. And he thought, okay, it's going to resolve, it activates in hand and then resolves as it's activated, so I have no way to respond to it. And then I bowled that because it reads can banish from grave as well. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Next up, 2 Pangratopses. So a lot of people opt to play Cosmic Cyclone, but they basically do the same thing, except this is a beta, because you want to play the Cyclone to force out the Crescendo, yeah. The Crescendo or the Field Spell, and he does that as well. And then he obviously is way better into like control matchups like Guru, so I definitely, like maybe even a 3rd one. It was really, really good
awesome.
at the regionals. Then I played 2 Eaters.
Broken.
It put in a lot of work. So this deck's hardest matchup is Thunder. So when they make their Triple Colossus board, so I wanted a monster that you could summon that would put pressure on Thunder every turn. So like so long as they don't Titan pop it or anything, they struggle to get around it. And then once you break the board, then you needle away the fusion. Then they can usually end up making like 1 Colossus a turn. And then this thing can just keep taking the Colossus away from them. Also, one of the problems this deck has is it bricks if you don't open muskets and the spell and traps at the same time. So I wanted monsters that I could summon if I bricked and opened just spell and traps, so I could kind of still play the game. Next, you go into the spell and traps. 2 design. Oh, it's clearly got.
Yeah.
So I played two-parted Desires. I played 3 for the longest time. It's probably the best card in your deck, but if you banish both Needles, you can't beat Orchest or Salad. Becomes literally impossible. And Desires into Desires was a problem. So I cut it down to 2, and 2 was the right number this regional. I saw it quite a lot, and I don't know, it was pretty good.
Did you ever banish all 3 of a particular...
I banished both Needles against one of my Salad matchups, and I wound up drawing, so I went 5-1. So 5-1-0, so 5 wins, 1 draw, no losses.
Yeah.
And my 1 draw was literally because I banished both Needles against a Salad player, so that was unfortunate. Then 2 Mind Controls.
Not 3? Not 1 Splatoon? Question mark?
Yeah, I was also thinking about playing a 3rd one, but then I just wanted to keep the card count to 40, so I decided to stick with 2. Definitely Flip, strongest card in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Like,
Probably.
pressures every deck. Like Orchest, when they end on their IP, you just take the you take the IP, then they can either chain out or they can like lose it. It outs all these decks that are playing special summoning, so like Block Dragon BA with the Fossil Diner, people that play Vanities, people that play Christia, whatever you want. It like outs problem cards. Appaloosa, it's a 1 for 4. So definitely best card. Okay, well, best card after Instant Fusion. So the thing about Instant Fusion, it's like a mind control, but with way more utility. Because you can summon... Well, I'll talk about it when I get to the extra deck.
Okay.
I'll talk about the targets there.
Cool, that's no problem.
Cool. Then the best Magical Musket spot and trap card. This one, when you activate it, quick effect, negates a monster's effect and makes its attack and defense 0. Yeah, so
Adds to the pain. Doesn't just negate, it also makes it 0.
Exactly. So this is how you can play around Thunder. This is the card you're going to be recycling a lot with Dark. So you kind of want to loop this in Needle versus Orchest. You want to loop this in Needle versus Salad. It's definitely the best card that you can play.
With the Dark Musket, the one that adds back from the grave,
yes.
Does it also add back spells and traps or any monsters?
No, it adds back any Magical
So
Musket
that's
card.
what you said
Yes,
with
so
the
you're going to
grind
be
game.
looping this with your Needles against Orchest and Salad.
See, I got you.
Also why I opted not to play Utopia Double, because as soon as you start looping those cards, those decks cannot beat you. It's impossible. 1 double summon.
This was crazy. I saw this on your list and I was like, okay.
Okay, so one of the problems with Muskets is if you get Judgmented, you lose. So I wanted a way to kind of play around Judgment without having to main deck reboots and stuff. So this is always live as an activation. And then you can, obviously, if you open multiple Muskets in your hand, if they Judgment you, you can play around it. Yeah, so it was really good.
Would you play more?
So I wound up playing 2 of this card. This card allows you to special summon Magical Musket monsters from your hand. So they have the same purpose in the sense that if you open too many in your hand, you can activate this and summon another monster. But the problem is you're only allowed to control 1 at a time.
Yeah.
So originally I was playing 3, but then I was like, this is searchable, and then if I open 2 of these, it's bad, but if I open these 2, this is at least an activation.
See, so this is basically doubling as another one of those.
As a third one of those. It's also kind of better because this one, you need a musket on board to activate. So this is also the only Magical Musket that you can activate during your... you can activate without controlling a Magical Musket monster. So if they like Judgment one of your monsters, you set this on their turn, you activate, then you can summon and all your spell and traps alive.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very important, but this is obviously slightly better because you can turn 1 still resolve max if they Judgment you.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Then 1 upstart. Free activation is not much
39
else
cards.
to say. Yeah. Well, also any column you activate, like it's your best card in your deck. I wish that was at 3.
No, that'd be insane.
Yeah. Okay, so we already went through these. Actually, the very best card in this deck right now.
Needle.
Dancing Needle. DD Crow for 3 during either player's turn, and you loop it in your turn and their turn, so you're banishing 6 every 2 turns. Orchest can't do anything. Salad can't do anything. Even Striker, you take out the Ray, you take out the spells. The cards can't steal your monsters anymore. Engage doesn't draw. It's just Rhoda. It's my goodness, it's amazing.
It's just Rhoda, like that's
bad.
Exactly.
I would actually play a 3rd just because the Desires interaction. Like desiring these away, you struggle to grind against any good matchup. So if I can, I'd probably play. And against the meta right now, it's always live if you open it. Even against Orcus as your like 6th card going second, you can just hit the dinghy when they banish the skeleton to summon it.
Yeah. Jeez.
Then I played 3 Last Stand.
The counter trap one, right?
Hand trap, counter trap. Like that's absolutely broken. You can't.
Does it only negate spells and traps, or
only
monsters
negate
as well?
spells and traps?
Okay, so that's its only
downside. So negate
downside.
spell and traps activations, but it's how you can get 2 muskets on board, then you can play around strike and stuff when you make max. But the big thing is, especially with Widow Anchor, because it's spell speed 3, once you make max and activate, they'll usually change like Lost Wind or Widow Anchor or something to negate it, and then you chain this, and then it being spell speed 3, they can't respond anymore.
Yes.
So
unless
then you
they
instantly
judgment.
unless they have judgment, but then they should judgment your normal summon anyway. So then you just instantly spam the board and win. And Muskets, as soon as you have like 2 or 3 monsters on board and you start looping, there's no deck as good as your deck. Like, it's just absolutely broken. 3 Desperado. So I was playing it this at 2 for a while because like how good is popping lately, but it's actually really, really good going second because it's got really cool interactions where if you summon a Musket and link into Max to spam your board, they can target it with Veiler or Imperm or Widow Anchor, and then you pop your own Max, and when it's destroyed, then they lose their target and you resolve and summon everything.
Yeah.
Also really great against like Mystic Mine, good against also those Christia like special summon lockout decks. So all in all, definitely a 3 of very, very strong card.
And then off to the extra deck.
Sure.
So that's main deck, 40 cards you said, eh?
Yeah. Okay. So favorite package in the extra deck is the 3 instant fusion targets. A lot of people only play these 2. It's wrong. You should play all 3.
Yeah.
Because this has got a really cool interaction with Appaloosa. So instant fusion doesn't usually out Appaloosa because you could summon this maybe and then
No
you
problem.
could summon this maybe and then negate it or whatever. But you just summon this to her forward pointing zone. And because Appaloosa is once per chain, you've now switched off the Appaloosa. So when they want Appaloosa, you just chain and steal her.
It's incredible.
Yes. So this is very, very good. It's also the one you want to play if you're going first because it protects you from hand traps.
Yes.
So instant fusion's obviously live because good players will make you play first. Like old Muskets with ties and stuff is nowhere near as good as the blind second version. So good players will make you play first, and then this at least gives you an option. Like if you get to your needles and your cross domination, like they can't really deal with you.
Did anyone the whole tournament make you go first, not knowing what you were playing?
Flip. There's so many blind second decks these days, like blind second Orcust, and then the True King Dino player that I was playing against, and like blind second is really strong this format because of cards like Mind Control and Super Party
and
Nibiru and oh my goodness, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But it was okay. Like I wound up winning those games because I managed to get to the cards that let you summon more Muskets at once. So like the trap the specials from hand
and double summon
and like so you go in like Starfire's column. Suddenly you have 3 Muskets going first and they can't deal with you anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. Removal.
Yeah.
Not much else to say. This card's really, really broken.
It's crazy.
So you can declare, when you instant fusion this card out, you can declare an attribute, and all monsters you control, it becomes an attribute, and all monsters that you control that have the same attribute as him can't be targeted by card effects. So against Striker, for example, they leave the Shizuku with the arrow pointing up. You just summon this to that zone, then you declare light, and they can't compulse you, they can't lost wind you, they can't widow anchor you, they just lose.
Sure.
And then Max is a free resolution.
Yeah.
So yeah, instant fusion because it has so much utility. Like you can play it whichever way you want. Play that. It's literally just to boost your attack when you go for game. Didn't make, just banished it for Eda most of the time. Didn't make it once. Borreload. Thunder's your hardest matchup, and if you can turbo into this and steal the Colossus, they really struggle to come back from that. Thunder doesn't usually set up back row, so it's quite hard, but you need the options. Like it does come up.
Yeah.
Best Link 2.
Wait, what?
Okay, so this guy, Security Dragon's got a really cool effect. When it's co-linked, it can bounce a card, right? But because Max has an arrow pointing down, you summon this here, then you bounce a card,
it's
then you
free,
link 3, and then
discard.
you out. Again, how you can break Thunderboards and like... So very, very strong. Nightmare package, pretty obvious. Okay. So Link 3. So Unicorn just outing again, deals with Thunder, has the arrow down, very important.
Yep.
Like Unicorn, but non-targeting, so it helps you out the matchups where you can't deal with, because Muskets really struggle to deal with non-targeting monsters, hence playing Borreload and this. Just because you can struggle against things like Avramax or But then same with the Security Dragon, you make the Max, then you link this Security Dragon, you bounce a card, you link this, you non-targeting send, and you can so you can plus really hard off your summons.
Yeah.
Chaos Soldier, really good when you make it with so it's a generic link 3, which is kind of important when you're trying to link instant fusion, mind control targets away, and the Pankratops. When you summon Pankratops and make him with 7, he's very broken, very strong into Striker. And then of course I play the level 8 Musket. So also making him was usually the go-to plan, because there's like no better resources for 3 materials. Like he's so hard for them to out. And then obviously every turn he like removes cards. There's auto win against Striker, because when you attack over the link and then they trigger Ray, it's going to trigger his chain link 1, chain link 2. sorry, chaining 1, chaining 2, then Ray's going to summon and you're going to banish the Ray.
Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, I get you.
So they have no way to respond with Ray to summon another Link. Link Karibo just for the instant fusion stuff.
Yeah.
And then most broken card in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know what they thought about printing this
Link
thing.
1, hey?
Link 1. When this card is summoned, it basically lets you special summon monsters up to the number of spell and traps your opponent controls, or add spell and traps to hand up to the number of monsters they control. So the way you kind of want to play this deck is you want to like grind resources 1 for 1 with your opponent, and then you resolve this, and you go +2, and then that +2 starts recycling itself when it's in Doc's column and other stuff, and eventually you just outpace them.
Jeez.
Oh.
And then side deck. So this is it spicy?
It's generic enough. I don't know. Like, I built to beat the matchups I want to know. So, like, I played 3 Shifter. Like, this was actually the reason I started playing Muskets. I wanted to play a deck that could play this that wasn't Thunder. And this card basically...
Did you ever think about main decking it?
I main decked it last regionals, and it was really good. It was just that with the blind second version, I wanted to be more prepared for things like Guru Control, things. Not that I played any, but you didn't want to take the loss. And then this is just a lot stronger after siding. It's also very strong when they make you go first. Because, so like I said, good players will make you go first. And if you're playing against Salad and you activate this at the start of your turn, they can't even respond. They can't hold by it. They can't do anything. And it also protects you from the majority of hand traps. Like, I think Ash and Imperm are the exceptions. But like Vela, Ogre, they all say send to grave. So he prevents that. Triple Ruler no more. Helps you break Thunder's board, helps you pressure Orcust's board. Like, you don't really need to do damage turn 1 so long as you can, like, break the board. Yeah, establish the board, start cycling, you win the game.
Did you resolve that over the regionals?
I did. I resolved it twice. Once against Pendulum, won me the game. It was an Appaloosa Savage Dragon board, and then hello doggo. once against I think once against True King Dino as well, forcing out the UCT and the... So yeah, really, really good card.
Really good.
Twins, you got to get rid of the judgments. It's very important. And rather Twins than Cosmics, just because you open so many duplicates, but you'd want those like if you open duplicates, they're always dead in your hand. So rather have those duplicates be 2 pops instead of
just one. Banish,
yeah, exactly. Reboot, absolutely busted in Musket because it sets all their back row back down, and then when your max resolves, you get an extra summon. So like you'll win. Like it's not even a problem giving them back, even if you can't deal with all of it. Just because once you start searching and activating in all the columns, you have. So if they search, there can be only 1, then you can like pop it with Desperado. If they search literally anything, there's nothing they can search. Once you have like 4 muskets on board, you've got game. And then I sided 3 ties because, like I said, good players will make you go first. And I wanted something that I could side in and side out the Pancratopses or Mind Controls or whatever was less relevant in the matchup. I wanted to be able to side in going first cards. Came up amazingly for me in my One Thunder, the One Thunder player I played. Managed to draw this when he, game 2 made me go first, resolved this, and then won the game. So it's very, very fortunate.
Well, that is awesome. Overall, do you think you had a good regionals? Was it fun? That's what matters.
It was very fun. Winning's always fun.
And any shout-outs before we end this off?
Shout out to Eric and his YouTube channel. Subscribe. Or what a hero.
Thank you.
Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Rian. Shout out to everyone that made the regional as awesome as it was. Rian for play testing and showing me how hard Thunder was a matchup and making me play the Eaters because Eaters came up all weekend.
And then going against him first.
And
round
playing
1.
in round 1. Sorry about that. Had to knock you out there. After 5-0ing me the night before, but we'll leave that aside.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Byron.
Thanks so much.